How have you been anyway? How's things going in your camp at the moment as you prepare for Australia?
I'm sorry, say it one more time.
How are things going in your camp as you prepare to come to Australia in a couple of weeks?
We're getting good on our end. Going over the songs right now, trying to create a couple of cool set lists and, just deciding what direction we should head in, when we get down there. But we got it mapped out. We're gonna come in pretty hot and heavy, I think.
Okay. I'd imagine we'd be expecting quite a bit from the new album, No Cross, No Crown.
Well, it's kind of hard to say, man. We got so many damn songs. We try to change things around a bunch, but like some of the places that we played more frequently than Australia, we go further out on the limb and do lots of different songs, but since we haven't been there in so long, we're debating, how to start with the classics, or, do we go out in the left field and do some stuff we don't normally do, or, we're just going to be prepared for anything that comes.
Okay, I can cope with that. I mean, with when you got back together with the band in a few years ago, what was it like being back in his studio with the guys and this classic lineup and recording that album?
Well, we had toured for 2 years prior to getting a record deal. We were just kind of testing the waters to see what was out there. I had some time off and those guys were free, and we said, let's kind of get together and play some shows and see what happens. So we had been playing for 2 years prior, almost, before we even started to get in the studio. So, and then we had gotten the record deal, and then, we kept touring a little bit longer and had to decide. It's time to get in the studio. When we got in there, we got John Custer, our guy, our producer, done everything from blind on.
Yeah.
And it's just kind of like riding a bicycle, but we tracked that record in kind of a weird way. It's almost like a fancy demo. We never retracked anything. We wrote them in the studio and recorded as we went.
So was that like you?
Kind of an interesting way to do it.
You played that live in the studio?
Yeah. And we actually wrote it. Like sometimes bands do demos when they go back and re-record them. We were tracking the demos as if it was the album. And we just kind of went that way. It was an interesting way to do it,
That harks back to the original days of you guys, though. I mean, almost that punk DIY element of just getting in and just recording and going from there. So what's the
just on a more epic level, I guess.
What's the feedback been like?
What's the what?
The feedback been like with the album?
It got all got flaming reviews. We kind of knew we were up against, and the last thing we had done was that I'd done with the band was a record called In the Arms of God,
Yeah.
which was one of my favorite things I'd ever done. I was really stoked, so that was kind of a catalyst of where we were going to launch from, and it was a pretty tall order. We're not playing together for like 15 years or something. But yeah, the reviews were solid. We were stoked. We knew we were getting into it. We didn't want to bullshit anybody, so we tried as hard as we could to make great records.
I mean, you've always been a band. Like, I saw you guys the first time at Donington in 1995, and so I followed. I've been around a while, so I followed your career through that element, and you've always been a band that I've always felt of your magic comes when you do play live. So I mean, was that? Yeah, you go, Pepper.
Live is, the way we kind of look at it sometimes is you make these records just so you can tour around the world and play live and hang out with people. It gives you an excuse to get out there. But, we like to go sideways, and that's another thing with DOC nowadays. We get into some of these jam things, and it just goes off on a tangent for 10 minutes, So we do a lot of things like that as well. So, you get to kind of throw the studio shit out the window.
Yeah.
When you play live, it's kind of fun.
I've got to. I mean, look, you've probably been asked a million times, and I have to ask anyway. But why did you? And I use this in inverted commas. Why did you leave the band?
Why did I leave the the band?
Yeah.
It was never really a leaving thing. The honest story on that is that we were, in the arms of God was out, and we were touring on that album, and we were having a blast, and everything was going great. And then we've been offered a full European tour with Motorhead, CRC and Motorhead, 2.5 months.
Wow.
And we were beyond stoked and excited to go do it. And 3 days before we were supposed to leave, Hurricane Katrina hit. And I live in New Orleans.
Yeah.
That was the end of that. So I couldn't leave. I had to locate my relatives and family and stuff. And just everything just completely turned upside down from that point on. It was a long time trying to get back together on that one. So I had to cancel that tour, which I never canceled a tour in my life. I actually spoke to Lemmy on the phone from a payphone after the hurricane. And, and shortly after that, the record label that record was on dismantled and fell apart. And that was about it.
Just, yeah, okay. Because I had read that you never really left, but it was just weren't there.
Yeah, we didn't have a record label. The house, my ship in New Orleans was destroyed. You pick up the pieces on that. It took a long time to get everything back together. And by then I was in New Orleans, and then we didn't have a deal for another album. We missed that fucking Motorhead tour, but there was nothing going on. So, and then I started doing down stuff because I was down here, and everybody in New Orleans, everybody in down was from New Orleans. So you just kind of roll with it, trying to get it all back together.
Yeah. I mean, you're obviously a chief songwriter in a lot of the bands that you're in. I mean, how does things like Hurricane Katrina affect the style and music and the lyrics that you bring out?
I mean, it does. It does a lot, and you just take those things. You don't be too on the nose about it, but you take those emotions and feelings and things you go through and try and put music without standing on the soapbox, You carry something like Katrina with you in a lot of different levels, which I'm sure you guys are experiencing right now.
Yeah.
You really don't realize how long it's going to stay with you or how it actually can change you.
Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, you brought Down there as well. I mean, you were one of the original members of Down back in when you first started, what, 92, 93. So you, I mean, the trajectory of that band as well over the course of that 15 years or so. I mean, what's happening with them now?
Man, they're just taking a break. I quit trying to plan shit and try and figure all this crap out in this rock and roll world. I just roll with things. You can sit there and try and map out careers and put a record out for this period and tour for this cycle and all that shit. It don't fucking matter in the long run, man. Just write good songs when you feel like doing it. People get under the gun and start spitting out crap. It doesn't mean anything. It's just to get a paycheck.
Just go with the flow.
Yeah.
Just go.
Down and get back together when we want to get back together, but it ain't no big deal. Everybody else is in different bands and busy as shit,
Yeah. I mean, you famously, for anybody who is only just getting into Corrosion of Conformity, you have some famous friends, and one of them was meant to be coming to Australia last year and caused quite there's a story behind it. Obviously, it's James Hetfield going back into rehab. Yeah, I mean, how have you heard anything in regards to that you're allowed to say?
I never got the skinny on it. I reached out to him, never got a reply, and I just tell him I was wishing well and thinking about it.
Yeah.
It kind of caught me off guard too.
Yeah.
But no, I never got a reply. So.
That sounds like what he does there.
I'm sure he is.
Yeah, that's cool.
Are they rescheduled? Have they rescheduled for Australia?
Not yet. There's a few.
Tell them to take us with them.
I'll put that in there. Don't worry about that. That's they literally cancelled about 2 weeks before the show was coming round, and obviously for obvious reasons, and we all get that. But yeah, no rescheduling. Kiss did the same thing. Kiss recently just cancelled as well.
I wonder why.
Oh, Paul Stanley, he got the flu or pneumonia. So they played in Japan.
Well, he's as old as Liza Minnelli.
It's just dust on stage, you know. They still came down here though. Right, so the rest of the band came down here. Paul Stanley didn't, and I don't know if you got this over in the States,
Oh, shit.
but the rest of the band played then underwater or something like this to sharks.
I didn't hear shit about that.
Oh, yeah. So apparently, this guy, where there's a big shark-infested region here, he'd figured out that the sharks would come to the sound of heavy bass. So, like Kiss, of course, being Kiss, you know, they came along. They did this show out in the middle of the ocean, and no sharks turned up.
No sharks turned up, nothing.
Nothing at all. But you know, it's Kiss, man. It's what Kiss do.
Yeah.
So I mean, you've already mentioned you don't really go and plan anything further than pretty much what's in front of you. Then, I mean, if this tour goes well and you guys have done well with the album, do you think you'll continue doing Corrosion of Conformity, or will it always be we'll just see what happens?
Okay, I mean, we would like to. We're talking about it. If that makes any sense.
Yeah.
You know, I'd like to do it. Yeah, if we can make it easy, not beat ourselves up, and don't put pressure on ourselves, and make it creative and exciting, I'm down.
Cool.
I mean, we all get along great. We have a blast playing. It's just that we played so many damn shows on this record cycle, we've run out of places to play. Like literally, Australia is the last place we can go. You know, we've been everywhere else like 3 times. So, yeah, it's time to either get back in the studio or don't do anything.
Yeah.
Because the booking agents ain't gonna book us no more. So, yeah, we'll probably start working on new material sooner or later.
Yeah, that'll be good. I'm looking forward to seeing you guys. I mean, like I said, I saw you back in '95, and then saw you again on the Wise Blood tour, and you know, so I got.
I think we're playing better now than we were then, to be honest with you.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, I've heard people say that, but I feel the same way.
That'll be good, man. That'll be good, because the things I've always loved about you is, I mean, you mentioned it earlier about, I mean, we said about the Magic Live, and then you can just go off on a tangent for 10 minutes. It's like there's an energy, but also there's also almost what I would call an attitude when you play, which is like just fucking rock, you know.
Yeah, I think we got it pretty down. You know, I'm not tooting my own horn, but it kind of freaks people out sometimes when we get into it. So yeah, we're excited about playing. Can't wait to get down there.
Cool, excellent work. Is there anything else you would like to say to our readers down here?
Just that we're stoked to get down there, and you know, just personally, me being from New Orleans, I wish you guys the best.
Thank you.
All this disaster stuff down there, and I know it's intense, man. I've been there a different way, and it's hard to see through it sometimes, but you get there, and I think sometimes what I learned down here, that sometimes you have to rely on the kindness of strangers to get through something like this. You know?
Yeah, you're absolutely.
Wishing you guys the best, and I hope you get a shit pot of rain.
Oh, thank you, man. We need it. They reckon in the East Coast, they reckon that could still be going for another 3 months.
God,
It's just crazy.
I mean, the size of it's what blows my mind. You know, just the length of it. I mean, the East Coast of Australia is as big as the East Coast of the United States, if not bigger.
Yeah. I think the last projected size I saw was essentially bigger than the size of Texas.
Jesus Christ! I mean, that's 980 kilometers across.
Yeah.
Of just constant fire.
And
Can you imagine? Yeah.
it's
I
also.
wish you guys the best. I told the promoter we had some time off. If there's anything we do to volunteer to help something out, you know, I'm not good at sitting around, so maybe they'll find something for me to do.
Yeah, I'm sure we can find something. Well, look, I'll let you go. Thank you very much for your time, Pepper.
Okay.
And I'll see you in a couple of weeks when you get here.
See you down there.
Bye.